Good morning. My name is Paul Dalzell, and I am the worship coordinator of this, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charleston. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome all of you, our members, our friends, and if this is your first time here, we welcome you and thank you for being here. You came here looking for something this morning. It might have been a connection with others, a community, a place to ground yourself, inspiration, or refuge from a world gone mad. Whatever brought you here, we are glad it did. We have a legacy of deeds, not creeds. Our very symbol, the flaming chalice, was created to help hundreds of thousands of refugees and immigrants leave Nazi Germany through the port at Lisbon, Portugal, by the Unitarian Service Committee. Deeds, not creeds, with love at the center. Please join us in singing our welcome song. We sing it twice, and if you feel comfortable doing so, greet those around you with a smile, a nod, or a hello. The words are in your order of service and will be on the screen.
Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whoever you love, we welcome you.
Please check your insert for goings on here at UUC this coming week and in the near future. Two, I would like to mention the SOAR Pet Supply. The UUC RE students are getting ready to start a fundraiser to support the SOAR Pet Food and Supplies, coming up on the third Sunday in March. The pet supply portion of SOAR's mutual aid focuses on raising money and supplies to hand out much-needed food and other pet necessities during SOAR's third Wednesday mutual aid. As a matter of fact, this last meeting, they ran out of food. I saw hundreds of bags of food come, hundreds of pounds of food come in the door, and they were out in 20 minutes. So in the meantime, if you want to check out the Amazon wish list, there's a QR code on the back, on the announcements page. And also the UUC auction. The auction committee has been busy working behind the scenes to put on the perfect auction on March 28th. Right now, we are still asking groups and individuals to commit to donating baskets and other large items for the event. If you're interested in donating, please contact Sarah. For our chalice lighting this morning, we have "The Chalice Lit Among Us is a Beacon" by Deb Falk. Please read it in unison with me as Mike lights our chalice. Yes, you can just slide. The chalice lit among us is a beacon of hope in a world in crisis, a beacon of possibility made manifest in community, a beacon of warmth through our interconnections, a beacon of light illuminating our shared wisdom, a beacon of connection by our being together. Our first song for all is number 354, "We Laugh, We Cry." Please rise in voice, body, and spirit as you are willing. willing and able. The lyrics are in your hymnals and will also be on the screens.
Verses 1, 3, and 4. 1, 3, 4. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. Our lives are full of wonder and our time is very brief. The death of one among us fills us all with pain and grief. But as we live, so shall we die, and when our lives are done, the memories we share with friends, they will linger on, and we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. We have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and bliss of peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see even to question truly is an answer.
Thank you all. We come to this sanctuary, whether in person or virtually, to connect with our community, sharing our joys, our celebrations, our sorrows, our concerns, our peace, and our needs helps our community become closer and stronger. And that is the community we all need in these times. The sun came up today. Hey. So I have a joy for Mike Pushkin's piece on Facebook. It was powerful. Hugging my granddaughter and playing Uno with Kaleidoscope Collective made the week amazing. I also have a joy for this and all the communities we are a part of, for those we hold close, those who care, and those we care for. We have deep concern for the conflict and tension in the world today, especially at this time, and that the bad idea factory are producing toxic waste again. Regressives never learn how to produce ideas for the common good. We also have sorrow for our former minister, Rose Hennigan, and her family, whose mother passed away on February 23rd last week. Her obituary was in the paper this week. A memorial service will be held at Baptist Temple on April 18th, and I spoke to Rose via email yesterday. They are planning on coming in for it. The 18th at 2 p.m. Actually, no, at the just shy of, like days, that's that, yeah. What's mine? I thought I'm going by Marion. If it's not written down, I can't remember. So, okay, yeah. Look up the obituary, this is online in there. So, I had the service done on Friday, completely. Yesterday, I wrote the message through, and for most of the day, I didn't look at anything else until Sarah sent me a link to the following article at 7 p.m. The headline: The Unitarian Universalist Association reiterates their long-standing condemnation of U.S. military action against Iran. It dated yesterday, April 28th. This morning, the United States, in coordination with the State of Israel, launched military attacks against Iran. According to news reports, the U.S. will undertake more military actions over the next several days. The Unitarian Universalist Association has long opposed any intervention into Iran by the U.S. military and supported the pursuit of diplomatic relations on wartime diplomatic resolutions in the region that protect innocent life and global human rights. In 2008, UU voted in favor of an action of immediate witness called upon UU congregations like this one to urge Congress to prohibit an attack on Iran without a specific congressional authorization and discourage an attack by an ally and to urge Iran to cooperate with inspections of its nuclear program. Sadly, 18 years later, it's all remain even more relevant today. In June of 2025, the UA reiterated its opposition to such military action. We do so again this morning, and every day these armed attacks continue. We and our member congregations will continue to work for a world where shared values of pluralism and interdependence are realized, and where the inherent dignity and worthiness of all people are upheld. And about 2 hours before that, Jimmy reminded me that Thursday past was the 54th anniversary of Buffalo Creek disaster. From the U.S. Virginia Illustrated Encyclopedia Online, one of the country's worst mine-related disasters occurred February 26, 1972, on Buffalo Creek in North County. At approximately 8 a.m., a coal-based dam collapsed on the middle fork of Buffalo Creek, releasing 132 million gallons of water, coal refuse, and silt into the narrow mountain valley. Within 2 minutes, the black wave plowed downstream into 2 other coal-based dams, and burned coal refuse high. In the next 3 hours, the dam water demolished or partially destroyed the 17 communities downstream. Saunders was hit first, followed by Pardee, Dorado, Prentico, Lundale, Stowe, Grace, Latrobe, Monette, Amherstdale, Becco, Fanco, Riley, Graham, Acoville, Crown, and Kistler. In the end, 125 people, including entire families, were killed. 1,000 people were injured. 507 houses and 44 mobile homes were destroyed. 273 houses were severely damaged. And 663 houses were partially damaged. And 4,000 with 5,000 residents of Buffalo Creek were left homeless. Residents of the closely knit old towns were dispersed. Some eventually rebuilt, but others never returned. Some communities vanished. Now 2 words for Amy, who was in the flood, and that's what I'm saying.
Sam sent me an article of the Buffalo Creek flood that I forgot about. I did not remember it, but Sam reminded me. Thank you. It's a significant thing for my family and people there. I remember hearing about this album for years. I'll tell you a few back. I was born February 13th. Flood was February 16th. My mother had pulled me over her head while she went to an house. And so my family. My grandmother was always sleeping in my grandmother. I thought it was fun, but she needed everyone to be in the room. My grandpa was on the couch and sleep before. At her age, that her kind of response to everybody out of the house. And they also got a house on the hill named it from. Wait, it's already absolutely. It's already it's wrong thing. I remember there was about people having that their lives. About the flood time, and that's kind of how I remember.
I literally have seen it time. Actually, this friend, his wife died of this. I don't know down. I lost track of it. Somewhere home, I got the name people and talking out. Do you know that his wife, they worked in no good Down in London, where hope is the king. People work so hard, lost everything. On the week, it was rain and rain. And people always rising to read new day. Bacon was sizzling and the coffee was warm. Up and up the holler was all anymore. Bodies raised through valley, touchdown after town. Homes dashed to pieces, won't can be forgotten. How could this happen? And how could this be? But damn it belonged to the cold of a knee. Like the bosses did crying. But God ain't that cruel, he can see through the eyes. Who ordered the dozers to build? Who's living high off the world hands? Who takes our money and don't share the fear? And who's reap for money has all disappeared? And in Logan County, where coal is big.
For all these joys and sorrows, both spoken and unspoken, may we remember shared joy is multiplied, shared sadness is diminished. Our offering word today are a greater good for ourselves and our world by our former contract minister, Caleb Parker. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. For our offering today, We Shall Be Known by Ma Muse.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tell these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive and deep within the earth. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive and deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time. shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Sit and breathe, to meditate, to ponder, to pray if you wish, but most of all, to sit here in community. Please relax in your chairs. Plant your feet on the floor, square your shoulders. Feel free to close your eyes or unfocus them, or gaze into our chalice flame. Breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Settle into this moment, this space. Our meditation today is My Commitment to Myself by Laura Mancuso. I take care of myself first because I am deserving of exquisite care. I take care of myself to maintain the capacity to help others. I move and stretch my body every day. I spend time in nature, attuning my senses to the earth's wisdom. I ration my daily exposure to the news. I identify and access credible sources of information. I protect myself from becoming overwhelmed by information about the world today. I pace myself. I sit with the reality of uncertainty and impermanence and allow it to temper my desire for control. I listen without judgment to others' reaction, which may be different than mine. I forgive myself and others when stress brings out our shadow selves. I feel fear fully when I am fearful. I experience sadness fully when I am sad. I allow anger fully when I am angry. I relish joy fully when I am joyful. I seek out healthy pleasures and indulge in them without guilt. I remind myself that feelings are transient states that move through me. They do not last, and they do not define me, nor do my thoughts. I balance my drive for self-improvement with the compassionate acceptance of myself as I am right now. I initiate contact with loved ones to let them know I hold them in my heart. I seek out with increased sensitivity those who are the most vulnerable. If possible, I share my resources with those who need help to survive. When possible, I move away from people, situations, and experiences that do not serve my higher good. I strengthen my connection to my sources of spiritual strength so that I continue to be replenished. I acknowledge the nearness of death as a key motivator for living a full life. I pray for the suffering of all beings to cease. I grieve my losses and I celebrate my successes. I remain open to new ways of being, surprising sources of joy, and unanticipated discoveries every day. Folks have called me wise in the past few years. Just the other day, a new friend used that word when describing me. I scoffed at that description, as I have in the past. To me, I'm still that 17-year-old, know-everything kid who I once was. It felt like I knew more than most, had a quick wit, but wisdom, that's something old people have. But this time, when Nancy said it about me, I started thinking. And as I do, because I love having virtually all the information in the world in literally the palm of my hand, I looked it up. What is wisdom? Well, according to the AI algorithm, wisdom is the ability to apply knowledge, experience, and deep understanding to make sound ethical judgments and navigate life's complexities. It involves balancing personal interests with the greater good, learning from past mistakes to inform future actions, and recognizing the uncertainties of life. Key aspects of wisdom include the application of knowledge. Wisdom is not just knowing facts, but knowing how and when to use them. Perspective and insight. It involves seeing beneath the surface of situations to understand the underlying, often contradictory nature of humanity. Good judgment. It's the capacity to make decisions that consider long-term consequences rather than immediate short-term gains. Balance. It requires finding a middle ground between rigidity and excessive caution, maintaining a flexibility in thinking. Emotional regulation. It often includes a self-controlled, calm, and reflective approach to life. While knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. It's often described as the proper use of knowledge. Well, that's not me. My friends who know me well know I am self-reflective, to a fault sometimes. I often see the world in shades of gray. I don't believe in absolutes. I am rather flexible in my thinking. I have fairly good judgment. I can usually see that us humans are flawed, but still beautiful creatures. And I either know a lot of things or I know how to find information about a lot of things. I try to use that knowledge well for the betterment of those around me. I've certainly made a lot of mistakes in my life or watched others make them, and I've tried to learn from both. Could these people be right when they say I have wisdom? The next thing that popped up on AI was, what are 5 words of wisdom? 5 words of wisdom often center on mindset and action. Act with courage, learn from failure, practice empathy, stay curious, and trust the process. And again, that is not unlike me. The wisest person I ever met was my grandfather, John Young. One time we were working together when I was 11, and Grandpa told me, "You know, son, if you fill the back of your shovel, the front will take care of itself." This was both a life lesson for me, but also an application of his life experience. Born in 1893, Grandpa only graduated from the 3rd McGuffey's Reader. Yet he was an active, avid reader. He was fascinated by the Civil War and his environment. He read about both voraciously. He could tell you about every battle in the war between the states, and he knew both the common and Latin names of nearly every plant in West Virginia. That summer, he taught me how to plow a field with a horse and plow, and how to work in the morning and in the evening when it was cool, and many other things I don't remember being taught, but I learned from him. According to Wikipedia, wisdom, also known as sapience, is the ability to apply knowledge, experience, and good judgment to navigate life's complexities. It's often associated with insight, discernment, and ethics in decision-making. Unlike intelligence, which primarily concerns problem-solving and reasoning, wisdom involves a deeper comprehension of human nature, moral principles, and the long-term consequences of actions. Grandpa applied his knowledge, his experience, and his good judgment to even the simplest of tasks, like shoveling. On theladders.com, an article by Zait Rana titled "The Difference Between Knowledge and Wisdom," the author describes a scenario with 2 different people with 2 different backgrounds studying the same thing in their own unique ways. In this case, it's the sea. The first is a university professor, someone who is an expert on oceanography. The second is an old-fashioned fisherman. The professor went out into the world, conquered many challenges, eventually finding himself at the most prestigious of universities, learning at the edge of our collective knowledge. The fisherman, however, did what he was expected. He graduated from high school. That itself was quite an achievement in his community, but then he took over for his father, tending to the waters that surrounded them, just as his own father had taken over from his father before him. Over the decades, these men studied exactly the same domain, but from different vantage points, with slightly different purposes. The professor knew all of the forces governing the bodies of water on Earth, but he spent little time in the actual sea. The fisherman, of course, spent all of his time on the sea, but he knew little of the fancy terminology. Let's ask an interesting question. Who of these men has a deeper understanding of how the sea works? The professor or the fisherman? Which one has the most wisdom about the sea? In my never humble opinion, the fisherman who lives on the sea has much more life experience about the sea than the professor, and therefore a deeper understanding of it. The professor might know more about tides and currents and why they happen, but the fisherman would be able to feel them as they are happening. whereas the professor would be lost. Who would be wiser about life on the sea? The fisherman with his lived experience would, because he's wise in regards to how to act in harmony with the sea. And again, from Zat Rana's article, when a fisherman is out in the sea, he moves with the waves, and he dances with the life forms beneath them, without thought, without abstractions. He experiences subtle vibrations of physical matter on his body, and his brain then contextualizes these vibrations based on prior experience, which has been earned by prior mistakes and lessons. And it tells him exactly what to do without actually telling him anything at all. There is no way to entirely replicate the effect of this process without actually having lived the life he has lived in relation to the sea. No knowledge, no IQ test can save him without the background of having walked the actual path. The professor may do important work in the field of oceanography. And this work may even tell us something new and important about our relationship to nature, enhancing our collective knowledge in such a way as to push us toward a brighter future. But this domain is different from the domain of lived experience, different from the subtleties of reality. This way of thinking has a lot of benefits, but one of the clearer ones to me is that it reaffirms the truth of the old cliche that everyone can teach you something. As a naturally curious person, at times an arrogant person, that's Zat Rana, not me, someone who at a young age has managed to learn a lot and then learn to use that knowledge to disarm people with word games, I had always been quick to think that I know more than I do, that if I can intellectually understand the logic of something, I get it, that I don't always need to hear someone out, nor do I need to respect the wisdom of their experience and what that has taught them. Now, time is a generous teacher, and while I'm still not completely beyond this kind of thinking, I am getting better at it. I'm more eager to pause, to listen, to give people space when they appear to be grasping something they feel is of substance, even if they don't have the language to fully communicate that substance in a way that naturally resonates with me. It's easy to take one side of an argument over the other, which we usually do based on our own unique biases and our own unique predispositions. But the truth is that in actuality, things are messy and people are complex, and the world we interact with is even more complex. Many different things can be true at the same time, depending on the interactions that are in play, depending on the predominant context. The point is never to declare victory for rationalism or empiricism, or for IQ or no IQ, but to honestly assess and see what works. Why, how, when. Is that then the clearest, simplest definition of wisdom? The ability to honestly assess what works, why, how, when? If so, does my question from the blurb in the weekly newsletter, can we hope to see the wisdom in our society increase, have an answer? And if so, how can we help that to happen? Those 5 words of wisdom seem pertinent. Act with courage, learn from failure, practice empathy, stay curious, and trust the process. They also seem rather you, don't they? When we show up at rallies and protests, And even the halls of Congress, as UUA President Sophia Bettencourt or others, when visiting their senator, trying to visit their senator, did, risking arrest, that takes courage. I'm sure we have all failed at something or things in our lives. And I am certain we have learned from those failures. I know you to be empathic people. You feel things deeply, or you wouldn't be here. Our fourth principle, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning, not just implies our curiosity, but it ingrains it in our psyche. And our fifth principle states that we affirm the use of the democratic process. But I believe it goes beyond that. We affirm the process of living in a covenantal relationship with our fellow UUs. We trust the process. I believe by living our shared values, by abiding by our principles, we and UUs across this country are helping set the example of wisdom. We're helping to increase it in our nation and in the world. You are doing that. And me? What about me? Am I wise? I still feel that knee-jerk reaction to deny it, to say, I know nothing. But when looking for quotes to use for the centering words, two I didn't include were one from Socrates, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing, and one from Thomas Jefferson, the wise know too well their weakness to assume infability, and he who knows most knows best how little he knows. Thank you.